Throw 3 darts at the map. Toss in 3 wildly distinctive personalities.
Oh, so cute.
Plus 3 clever projects, and you've got a craft show that'll have you saying, "That's clever." Hi, I'm Angela Martinez. Welcome to That's Clever. Sometimes a crafter's imagination combines fact with fiction. This artist from the Sunshine State casts off on paper mache to reel in a Florida marlin with a little aloha style.
Hi, I'm Mike Sherard. I live in Tampa, Florida. Today I'm going to make a paper mache blue marlin and cover it with Hawaiian fabric. I'm going to go back to the studio now and get started on my fish. Welcome to my studio. This is my rooster fish. You have to go to Mexico to find something like this. It was hard catching this one. I call this my turnip seed fish. And everybody in Florida knows a red snapper. The first thing I do is build a frame. It's kind of an armature inside the sculpture. I use 3/4 inch PVC. I use the Schedule 40 because it's thicker and I can sculpt bills like this. Now I've got to glue these pieces together to hold them firm. I use the regular PVC glue that's sold to hold this pipe together. Now that I've got the frame glued together, I need to drill some holes in it. I'm going to need to put a series of holes into the top bar so I can have something to hang on to and tie the chicken wire to. I'm going to put a couple of holes in the bottom to tie the bottom fins onto. Now I've got to tape the back end together. I secure this with tape so I make a nice solid frame and I get a nice taper in just the shape of the fish. And now that I've got a secure frame, I'm ready to cut some chicken wire. I use chicken wire, or poultry mesh as they call it in the home stores, because I can sculpt it in just about any shape. I can make great fins, it's easy to work with, and it's pliable. I use these tin snips. They work really great to cut through the mesh. And now that I've got all the pieces cut, I can start sculpting the fish. This first 21-inch piece that I cut is going to become the body of the fish. I always start at the back of the fish and I wrap it as tight as I can and I let the front billow out. I'm trying to get a tapered cone effect. And now that I've got the pretty good start of a cone shape, I can take these pliers and start locking the wire together. This being a blue marlin, I need to be conscious of the severe slope of the front of the fish. So I'm going to pull this down to get the start of my face going. Now I've got the body looking pretty good. I'm ready to add a dorsal fin. The reason I folded this piece to start with is so I can pull the 2 sides apart and make a nice little pyramid to mount on the top of the fish. I'm going to keep adding chicken wire pieces until I get a blue marlin shape. I'm really liking this fish shape. It's time for some paper mache. I like to work on a couple of boxes when I start to paper mache. It keeps the fish off the table and I can partially wrap the paper around it. This is just brown grocery bags that I've torn into strips and I'm putting it in a pan of wallpaper paste. It kind of breaks it down so it's more pliable when it goes onto the form. When I start to put the pieces, I try to create a network by crisscrossing, kind of makes a tighter form. I use brown paper bags because it's a little tougher than newspaper and it makes for a harder skin. And once I get the fish completely covered with paper mache, I'm going to let it dry thoroughly. Because the paper mache takes overnight to dry, I've already got one done. I've put these 3-inch eye bolts right through my frame. That'll give me something strong and secure to tie fishing line onto so I can hang this guy on the wall. Now I'm ready to start adding some fabric. I use Hawaiian fabric quilting squares. I brushed this wallpaper paste on. This is actually a different wallpaper paste made just for fabric. The great thing about this glue is I know it's going to dry perfectly clear, so I can lay it on pretty thick and make sure everything is stuck down pretty good. I try to organize my colors. Since fish patterns are linear, what I do is I'll create a white down the side, then I'm going to build up my color into a dark fin. A lot of people ask me how I got started doing this. Well, a few years ago, I made a series of life-size jungle animals for a party, and I just evolved into fish, and I haven't stopped since. I'm going to turn it over and start on the back side. Once I get the fish completely covered with fabric, I'm going to let it dry overnight. Hi, my name's Mike Sherard. I have this fish that's already dry. Now I'm ready to add a finishing touch. I have this eye that I got at a taxidermy shop, and I add a wood screw to the back. So I've got something to go right through the material and glue to it. The first thing I'm going to do is poke a little hole in with a knife, put a little glue around it, and then insert the eye through it. Now that I've got the eye in place, all I've got to do is to put fabric on the bill and cover these fins with a drawstring. My marlin is done. I've coated it with varnish, so it's waterproof. It's the catch of the day.